This is Teachers Talk Radio, and you are listening live.
Evening, everyone. How you doing? Sarah Langdon here with you on the Late Late Show. It is Monday, the 19th of December. How are we doing? Oh my goodness, Christmas is in like less than a week. Is that even a thing? I hope everyone's had a wicked week. Hopefully people have broken up for Christmas now, getting ready for a breather till January. Some of us are still teaching. I've got a fantastic guest joining me tonight.
This is Teachers Talk Radio, and you are listening live. Tune in live at ttradio.org, or to join in the conversation, download the Podbean app and search Teachers Talk Radio. Follow the hashtag TTRadio. Tune in, talk it out with Teachers Talk Radio.
Can I just say, did the technology just work? What is that even about? Evening, everyone. How are we doing? Welcome along to the Late Late Show. My name's Sarah Langdon. I hope you are all doing well. Oh, it's nearly Christmas. How are we all feeling?
This show is brought to you in partnership with John Catt Educational, a leading publisher of books, directories, educational guides and magazines specifically aimed at forward-thinking schools in the UK and beyond. Have you checked out their latest releases? Don't miss out. Visit johncattbookshop.com to explore their full range of titles and advance your own professional development today. Happy reading.
See, I knew I spoke too soon. Of course it wasn't going to work. How hilarious was that? Oh my gosh. Right. Okay. So I'm super excited to be here with you tonight. My guest is going to be jumping into the studio very, very shortly, I hope. And I'm really excited tonight, but also I kind of feel a little bit privileged because the person that is joining me this evening, I've known them for nearly 10 years, which is terrifying to start with. When we had a conversation the other day, they were like, I can't believe it's been that long. I was this age the other day. And I was like, I know, I was 40 last month. Dreadful. And so I kind of feel like I've been a little bit honoured to watch their journey from where they began joining. They started teaching before I did. And seeing sort of how they've progressed to where they are today. And my guest this evening is a person whose name is Steph Levy. Now, if you are a regular watcher of BBC's The One Show, there are other channels and television programmes available, obviously, you will have seen Steph receive her... received their Pearson's FE Lecturer of the Year for 2022. And this was a culmination of many, many years of work and commitment and dedication to their students. And this was recognised with this amazing achievement. And I know that they are trying to get into the studio. So I'm going to keep talking to you whilst I try and track them down. So first of all, if anyone has any questions that they would like to ask Steph this evening, do get in touch and I will be able to put any questions to them this evening. They're just messaging me. Click into the studio. This is live radio for you. That's what this is. It's great. I love it. They're more tech savvy than me as well. So hopefully they are going to be joining us very, very soon. We're going to talk all about how they started their journey in education, delivering education in 2013 as a learning development assistant right up to now, where not only have they won the Pearson Award, but they are also responsible for some amazing initiatives that were put into place during lockdown. Welcome, Rupinder. I can see that you are listening this evening. Rupinder was my guest 2 shows ago. Can you believe that was 6 weeks ago, Rupinder? My goodness, that's mad, isn't it? Right. Hopefully, Steph is going to be able to jump in and join us very, very shortly. So I'm really, really excited to talk to her today. And she's also, they're also going to be telling us about the moment that they won the award and were presented with it at Adrenaline Alley in Corby, a place very close to Steph's heart, and also one of the most inspiring students as well. Is she there? Where are you, Steph? I love live radio. Isn't it great? Oh, gosh. Okay, bear with me 1 minute. Aha! I hear a noise. I know Rupinder, the anticipation. Do you know what? When you sent me that message then, I got all excited because I thought that noise meant that Steph had come into the studio. You're terrible. Right. Okay. Do you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to find the news. I'm going to play the news for us and I will see if I can figure this out. Okay.
This show is brought to you in partnership with John Catt Educational, a leading publisher of books, directories, educational guides and magazines specifically aimed at forward-thinking schools in the UK and beyond. Have you checked out their latest releases? Don't miss out! Visit johncattbookshop.com to explore a full range of titles and advance your own professional development today. Happy reading!
This episode of Teachers Talk Radio has been made possible with support from Witherslack Group, the UK's leading provider of SEN education and care. They're here to support you too through an ever-growing offer of free resources, including webinars, podcasts, articles, and events aimed at supporting teaching professionals like you. Visit their website at www.witherslackgroup.co.uk to find out more. This is Teachers Talk Radio, and this is Teachers Talk Radio News.
The long debate as to whether a Yorkshire pudding belongs on a Christmas dinner has often been a talking point on social media. This year, however, the debate has reached new heights after an 11-year-old schoolgirl was left unimpressed by the failure to include her favourite item on the school Christmas lunch. The Daily Mirror carries details after the pupil's letter to her head teacher was shared on social media. The 11-year-old pupil from a Lancashire primary school sent the strongly worded email after she noticed that none of the pupils were served Yorkshire puddings, but staff were. The email referred to the puddings as food of the gods and as golden delicacies, and described the actions of the school as cruel and callous. Puddings for all were demanded going forward. The head teacher took the complaint seriously, but in good humour, and even agreed to take part in a conciliatory dance-off to make up for it. The dance-off was conducted in front of the whole school, with only one clear winner, the 11-year-old. So for all those still debating whether Yorkshire puddings belong on a Christmas dinner, be prepared to hit the dance floor to settle the argument. Chester Zoo and the University of Chester have joined forces for a new course focusing on conservation and sustainability education. This course offers the first opportunity anywhere in the world for education professionals to gain a recognised qualification. The course will launch in 2023 and allow those studying to gain a postgraduate certificate. The course aims to provide educators with knowledge and skills needed to help learners maximise the impact they can have in carving a better future for the planet. Full details of the new course can be found on the University of Chester website. Whilst recruitment and retention of teachers and other professionals in the UK has been a frequent topic of discussion, Nigerian news outlet The Nation looks at the topic from another angle. The article focuses on what it describes as a mass exodus of licensed medical doctors and other health professionals to more developed countries, and now the fear is changes to UK immigration rules will have a further impact on the education sector. According to a recent announcement, from February the 1st, 2023, teachers from Nigeria and other countries who qualify will be able to apply to be teachers in the UK. Whilst this is a step in the right direction for recruitment in the UK, there are fears in Nigeria and other nations that this will lead to a further brain drain that can only have a negative impact on the youth of these other nations. Finally, with many schools already broken up for the Christmas break, it's left only to wish all school staff an enjoyable holiday, while sending solidarity to those who, according to a recent Teacher Tap survey, are pushing on into this week, particularly to the 7% of staff who don't break up until Friday, the 23rd of December. Keep going. This has been your Teachers Talk Radio News with Joe Fox.
This is 2 Minute Tech with Steve Woods, your tech briefing on Teachers Talk Radio.
Hello and welcome to the 50th episode of 2 Minute Tech. This week, I want to make an appeal. I'd love to know about real classroom tech situations. I want to speak to teachers of all subjects about how they use tech. How do you engage your pupils using tech? Because I'm telling you now, other people will want to know what you're doing. So what are you waiting for? Get in touch at TT Radio 2022 and let us know what you want to tell us about tech.
2 Minute Tech with Steve Woods, your tech briefing on Teachers Talk Radio.
This show is brought to you in partnership with John Catt Educational, a leading publisher of books, directories, educational guides and magazines specifically aimed at forward-thinking schools in the UK and beyond. Have you checked out their latest releases? Don't miss out! Visit johncattbookshop.com to explore their full range of titles and advance your own professional development today. Happy reading!
This episode of Teachers Talk Radio has been made possible with support from Witherslack Group, the UK's leading provider of SEN education and care. They're here to support you too through an ever-growing offer of free resources, including webinars, podcasts, articles, and events aimed at supporting teaching professionals like you. Visit their website at www.witherslackgroup.co.uk to find out more. This is Teachers Talk Radio, and this is Teachers Talk Radio News.
Righty-ho, welcome back everyone. How are we doing? I love technology, isn't it amazing? Thank God for the news is all I have to say. Right, for those of you just joining us, welcome along to Teachers Talk Radio. This is the Late Late Show. It is Monday the 19th of December. We are less than a week from Christmas. I'm not coping, but it's totally fine. I have got the most wonderful guest with me this evening, and I'm super excited to introduce you to this year's Pearson's FE Lecturer of the Year, Steph Levay, who should now be in the studio. Steph, are you there?
Hi there, you're right, Sarah. Can you hear me okay?
Goodness, absolutely. How traumatic was that? How are you?
Oh, yeah, I'm good. I was like, oh no, I hope I can get on okay.
What I love is that this week it wasn't a tech issue at my end.
Yeah. Makes it, to be honest, it seems to be quite the case with me lately with tech. It's all I've been having.
Oh, goodness. How funny. How are you?
Yeah, I'm really good, thank you. Yeah, just been pottering about. I think like everyone else, try to sort out for Christmas, and my list is as long as my arm. So yeah, how are you?
I'm all right. Have you finished teaching now for Christmas?
Yeah, so I finished on Friday, just gone.
Nice.
Yeah, but I'm going to be popping into work to get bits done. It seems to never end, even when you're finished.
Oh God, definitely. I've only got I'm off Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, obviously because it's the weekend, and I'm off Boxing Day on the Tuesday, and then I'm back on the Wednesday, and then I'm only off till the 3rd of January. So
oh my God,
it's a long old one. It's a long old one.
yeah, it's always the case. It just flies by, I think, the holidays when you have them, and then you go back and you're like, oh my God, it feels like I've never had one.
Definitely, literally, yeah. Anyway, first of all, congratulations on the Pearson Award.
Oh, thank you very much. Thank you.
Has it sank in yet?
It still feels quite surreal, to be honest. I think it just feels quite just a bit of a wild year, like a whirlwind. But yeah, it's just crazy. Really grateful for it and everything, for sure.
Yeah. Well, we will obviously come on to the award and the process leading up to that in a little while. But I want to kind of go back to how you started your journey into education, because it's such a lovely story. I love it. When we caught up the other day, sort of where you started to where you are now, in what we worked out was actually a 10-year journey.
Yeah.
Madness, right? So take us back to 2013. You started as was it a learning development assistant or an LSA?
Yeah, so it was quite weird because I was at my last year of uni and we had a professional practice unit, and for it I was applying for jobs, because I kind of knew that I wanted to go into creative education and work within a college or uni setting. So my first job was as a learning development assistant, and in the evenings I was doing basically teaching Photoshop to adult learners in the evenings as part of my teaching hours for my PGCE.
Oh, right.
Um,
So you were doing your PGCE alongside working full time as an LSA.
yeah, so I was
Got you.
full time working as a learner support assistant, working with young people with disabilities and mental well-being needs. And then in my own time, I would then do voluntary teaching hours for my
Yeah.
PGCE and then studying my PGCE. Yeah, so it was pretty hectic. Yeah. um,
So was it kind of photography where your heart was, or was it always art that you knew you were going to go back to? What was the kind of the story with that?
So I think the main thing was because because I was working full time, I couldn't actually get teaching hours on the kind of arts programs, and the
Oh,
only
I
evening
see.
courses, yeah, so the only evening courses that were running were photography, and what I was teaching was digital editing for Photoshop, which was within my fine art practice. My specialism is digital editing, so that was kind of
Right.
right up my street, which was perfect, really.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah, yeah.
So
It's
when you
yeah.
got your PGCE, did you carry on as a photography lecturer?
No, no, no. So when I qualified, it was 2015, and I got my first position as an art and design lecturer. So my studies was fine art in my BA, and then eventually later on down the years, I've done my MA in fine art digital. So it was always like fine art background, and then I went into teaching as an art and design lecturer, but predominantly teaching on the graphics design programs over the
Right.
years.
I see. Okay, okay. And obviously you worked your way up. Did you became obviously lead of the department, you had all your own stuff going on. Were you kind of really involved in deciding what was taught, how it was taught, the way it was delivered?
Well, I think like I think it was, let me think now, was I teaching? Yeah, so the first year I come in, I took over from my predecessor. So two
Okay.
lecturers retired, um, and the course was on like 75% retention and achievement. So I actually took over the level two art program to begin with as an art lecturer
Okay.
and course leader. And my kind of aim in the first kind of year was that this needs to improve. I want to get 100% retention, achievement, success, and change up the level twos because I think they're,
Aim high, right?
well, a lot of the students who go on level two programs, they're kids that have come from impoverished areas. They haven't achieved their
Yeah.
GCSEs or they didn't get on well at school. And for me, I kind of related to that, and I thought, do you know what? These kids are gold dust, and they're diamonds in rough, and they need to be
Yeah.
invested in. So I kind of made that my drove myself and was like, actually, no matter what, I'm going to try and get these shaped up and make them something people value. So I worked with the course team, and in my first year of teaching, I got 100%. So it was initially 75% retention, success, achievement, and then in my first year of teaching, I pushed that up to 100% from my predecessor, which I was pretty proud of, and it weren't easy as well
Mate,
because
you're awesome.
it was hard going. It was really tough because obviously you got high level mental health, high level
Yeah.
kids who've been in exclusion alternative provision units.
How did you balance that with being able to obviously encourage them academically but equally support them from a pastoral perspective? Was it through the use of the art that you were teaching them, or was it kind of that kind of helped you connect with them and be able to build that relationship with your students that you were then able to carry on?
I think for me, like the main thing in all of my teaching is connecting with them as people. I think no matter what level. So now in 2022, I teach on HE higher education programs and level three now predominantly.
Right.
Um, but no matter what level I teach on, I think for me, engaging with the student, getting to know who they are, actually showing that you care and making them feel like, they matter. I think for me, that's always been my approach. So, you
Yeah.
know, who are you? Where are you from? Like, let's be real here. Let's get to know each other. What do you want to achieve? Because then they know that it's, to me, I know that we get drilled into us saying, Ofsted, the figures, the data,
Yeah.
we have to do A, B, and C. But to me, that all comes naturally. If you're in there, you engage in those kids and those students, and you relate to them, you show that you care, you have compassion, you care about where they're going in life. All of that will come naturally. But I think sometimes a lot of people flip it and they care too much about the data and the figures, and actually it's not going to come, because the most important thing is when that student walks through that door, are you relating to them? Are they engaged? Do they have respect for you? And do you have respect for them? Because it's reciprocal, isn't it?
100%. Oh my God, I couldn't agree with you more. Literally, I want to stand on a roof and just shout everything that you've just said. Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more, Steph. It's so important. And I think that every single teacher should practice that. I really do.
Yeah. I just genuinely I know it's even when we used to get Ofsted visits and things like that, even now when the word Ofsted. Oh my God, yeah. But I think it's you literally go into panic mode and everyone's like, oh my God, let's get the posters up, let's get the pictures up, let's make sure
you immediately forget how to be a teacher, don't you?
Yeah, I just am like, look, they're people and they're just coming in to make sure we're doing the job. And I just see it as, at the end of the day, just be yourself, just keep doing what you're doing, because they're coming in and they're going to kind of support
They're
or
going
guide
to know
you.
if you're putting a show on for them as well, aren't they?
100%. But not only that, if your students are sitting in the room and all of a sudden you switch it up, they know, come on now, they're going to sit there and be like, come on now, this isn't you, Steph.
They're going to be like, give over. What are you doing? Who are you trying to fool?
Yeah, exactly. And I think this is the thing. I think for me, I just be myself, and I just try and crack on with my teaching. And I've always been I'm quite direct in the sense of, if someone comes in from Ofsted and I disagree with what they're saying, I'm like, no, it's the students that are the priority, not this, that, and the other. Because I think we all know as teachers, the goalposts every year change all the blooming time, and some things are unrealistic. And I think at the heart of it, the most important thing is those students walking through that door, engaging in your content, really getting their teeth into what you're teaching them. If you're doing that, you might not be on top of all your paperwork and all these other things, but do you know what? If those young people or those students are coming in and they're really kind of motivated, you're doing your job right. And try not to, I mean, it's impossible to do everything. That's the truth of it, no matter how, and I'm saying that with this award on my shoulders now. And even I will say to you, I've not done, I can't do every single thing in my everyday job at teaching. And I think you just got to prioritise, don't you?
Of course you do. Absolutely. I've got dreadful feedback. Bear with me a minute. There we go. Is that better? Yes, that's better.
Yeah.
I just heard myself 3 times. It was very strange. But no, you're absolutely right. And I think the thing is, I always remember feeling like, if I need to make sure that these young people leave us as, decent human beings who are ready to take on the world. And if they don't, we've failed them.
Yeah, 100%.
I used to take it completely I still do. I take it completely personally, Steph. I really do. If one of them doesn't achieve what they need, I take it to heart that I've let them down. Do you know what I mean?
100%. I think the thing is, right, when I think about being in school, I remember, the words teachers would say to me, and I don't quite think, sometimes, the weight on our shoulders, that one thing you say to a kid can impact the way what they think or what they feel about themselves. And I just think it's such a responsibility to give these young people, your students, the motivation and the drive to believe that, there is obstacles in life, but if they've got the right attitude and they're willing to work for it, the only boundaries are the ones they set themselves, and we're there to give them the tools to unlock those doors, but they can work with us. And if they learn that to work with us and not against us, they can get, soak up all the knowledge we can give them like a sponge, and keep progressing and developing in life. And like you said, I think when we're not tuned into letting students walk out the door without success on their, because that's what we want for them. We want the best for them. And I totally agree with what you're saying there.
That's the thing. I remember one of my mentors when I was doing my PGCE, she said to me, she went, you have to learn to be able to disconnect when you get home. And she said to me, if you ever figure out how to do that, please tell me, because I've been teaching for 20 years and I can't. Yeah. And you can't let go of them, can you? It's really difficult.
No.
So, yeah, sorry, go on, you carry on.
I was just going to say, when my students leave, I still say to them, I'm still here. Doors always
Yeah.
open. If you ever need support or help, drop me a message. Let me know how you get on when you go in the industry.
Mm.
And I still talk to my students now. They'll contact me years later and message me and let me know what their life's like, what they've been doing. And I just think that's fantastic because it's just amazing to see where they've gone in life, and what you're
Yeah.
doing matters to an extent with, with how you're supporting them. So yeah.
That's the mark of a great teacher as well, I think.
I just think, I think we're all, I think anyone who goes into teaching, we're all kind of, we've just got that ingrained in us. I believe that anyway. Nobody goes into teaching for, for their own benefit. You go into it because you want to help others and help, develop their success in their life in any way you can. So yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, we always like to hope so. Hey.
Yeah, hopefully not always, but you never
Yeah.
know. Hopefully.
So you started as an LSA, you've qualified, you're working as an art lecturer, you're doing amazing things and changing the world for so many students, and then COVID arrives.
Oh God, yeah.
So what happened? How did you deal with that? Because from obviously the research and the reading that I've done, and obviously I've spoken to you prior to tonight, you put in place some pretty stunning initiatives during lockdown. So when old Boris comes on the telly and goes, "No, you're not allowed to," what did you went, right, well, that's not happening. So talk us through your process.
Yeah, well, in the creative arts department, I know you used to work in Tresham with us quite a few years back, Sarah. So
I did.
I know that, in our department, we do attract probably about over 50% high need students who have
Yeah.
quite severe mental health. So my main concern was their safeguarding, because when obviously they're in college, I can check on their well-being, make sure they're okay, make sure they're eating, make sure, if they need safeguarding support or referrals. So you can imagine, I mean, people in a quite a strong mental well-being mindset, even they struggle with lockdowns and everything else. So never mind, young people who are going through it anyway, and then plus on top, this, it's like the world was on fire when everything was going on. And I just, so anyway, so we had to be quite like a unit within our team. And what I did was talk to the team and set up, it wasn't so much like academic reviews, but more supportive kind of tutorials. So every single week, I made sure within my group to call every individual student and had a well-being check on them.
Yeah.
Talk through how they're getting on in general, made sure they're okay. Some of them we had to do referrals to things like food banks, to online mental health services, to
Were you doing online teaching during all this?
yeah, as well as this, yeah. I mean, a lot of
Right.
this I was having to do in my evenings and things like that. So, I'd finish work at 5 after online teaching during the day, and then do well-being checks and ring up the students and just
Right.
do any referrals or anything I'd need to. And then regards to teaching, because obviously I'm teaching Adobe software, it was quite difficult because obviously,
How the
first
hell
of
do you
all,
teach that online?
I know, right? So I mean, like, what I did, I set up like an unlisted YouTube channel and then created video tutorials for my students and set that up so they could access that remotely from any location. But then the second issue was a lot of the students didn't have Adobe. So then we had to apply to Adobe to get a free Adobe license for students during the pandemic so they could have Adobe software on their programs at home for free.
Right.
So it was a
Can I
whole.
just ask one question?
Yeah, go for
During
it. Yeah.
lockdown, did you sleep ever?
No, it was. I think honestly, like I was probably. I think like many teachers in the UK, I think it intensified our workload. And
Surely.
if I wasn't planning, I was calling students, calling their parents, doing referrals, doing mental health well-being checks. Sometimes phoning up food banks, or sometimes we'd open the college up as well for high need students, because obviously that was really important to have that
Yeah,
space
some
for
were
them.
still accessing being able to go into learning spaces, weren't they? Because those were the kind of
Yeah.
higher risk or more vulnerable, for example.
Oh gosh, yeah, and it was
Yeah,
crazy because we've never anticipated anything like this in the world happening, and all of a
100%.
sudden we all had to flip the teaching and really kind of rely on the students to work with us, and to kind
Oh, it
of.
was the definition of a flipped classroom, wasn't it?
Oh my God, yeah. But yeah, so done the video tutorials and set up the YouTube channel, and um I obviously set up ArtMesh, which was an online zine, and it was where students could submit 10 pieces. So students would
Right,
submit.
go back a minute. What was that called? Because I missed that when we were talking the other day.
Yeah. So it's called Art Mesh.
Art Mesh.
Yeah, so it's an anagram of the word Tresham, which is the college I work
Oh,
at.
wicked.
Yeah, I can't take credit for that. It was actually, so when I was coming up with the name, I was,
Who was
talking
it?
to it was Spencer actually. Do you know this art and
Spencer,
design?
I love
Yeah, yeah.
Spencer, bless him. He used to tell me off because, sorry, just a quick digression because that's what I do.
No,
I
no.
remember coming down when I was an English teacher there. I remember coming down to, oh no, Spencer, I'm so sorry. Coming down to ask to borrow some resources for one of my students. And I said to him, can I borrow some like arty farty resources? And he looked at me with such a straight face and he went to me, he went, excuse me, we like to call it creative.
Oh.
I was like,
Yeah.
Spencer, I'm so sorry. I've never wanted to make a man angry less in my life.
He's very, very passionate about his
He
discipline and
is. He
creative arts,
is.
and I
He's a
love that about
wonderful
him
artist
actually.
as well.
Oh my God, he's fantastic. He's always doing something. He's never ever, and I think that's with every teacher. We're always either researching or developing, or I don't think our brains ever stop. If we're not doing something for the students, we're doing something for ourselves in some way or another. It's
Yeah,
just-
I think that's one thing I can shout from the rooftops about that department at Tresham. Actually, when we were both there, everyone was like committed to the nth degree to their craft, weren't they? And the
oh
students
God,
in
yeah.
equal measures. None of us
Even
slept ever.
Honestly, even now, like the work that I've grew up in that team. I'm 33 this year, and I was 23 when I started working there. So that's mental, isn't it?
Oh, don't. I was 40 at the moment. It's ridiculous. I was like,
Yeah.
I started uni when I did my subject degree. I was 29, and I'm just stop
Oh.
it. It's just rude, quite frankly.
It's just mad though. Like when you look at it, but I grew up in that department, like from the age of 23, and when this award got said about it, I was like, this is not just for me; it's for my team because I've,
Yeah.
through them I've grew up and they've all impacted me and developed me in all their different ways, and helped shape become who I am as a teacher and as a practitioner. So, it was just awesome to be able to represent them, and it's quite wild, really, isn't it?
It
But
is.
they're
It's
brilliant.
completely wild. It is completely wild. So tell us about your amazing students and the work that they put into Art Mesh during lockdown, because obviously we came off topic ever so slightly there.
Yeah, yeah. So
We
art
knew we were
mesh.
going to do it.
I know. I'm so bad at this. I do it all the time as well in class. I'm like da 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 da, and then they're like,
You
"Steph,
sit in
get
the
on
staff
that."
room. We used to go through 24 subjects in about 10 minutes.
Honestly, I'm still all the time. But yeah. So art mesh. So what it was based on was that students would submit work, and then I got together a team of lecturers. There's the committee panel, so it was
Yeah.
like kind of unbiased and different lecturers from each subject area. And then
Okay.
students, 10 were selected a month, so 10 submissions were selected a month out of the submissions that were submitted. And then they were published in a digital zine, which was published online as a digital ISU ebook. And then that was shared across the social channels. So it was a way for students to engage, to present their work in a professional setting, to build confidence in showcasing their work. But because obviously a lockdown and all this stuff going on, they didn't get an end of year show, they didn't get to do pop-up shows, didn't get to do any of their enhancement they'd normally do. So I was trying to put all these initiatives together to try and make sure that they weren't, hindered as much as as they could be, and trying to help them to engage
Yeah.
with alternative activities and support them.
So what sort of stuff did they submit? What was the kind of content that was in it?
Oh my gosh,
Is it
loads of different
accessible?
stuff.
Can anyone see it? Or
Yeah. So if you type in like Tresham College, wait there, let me just type in. If you type in Tresham College and then put
live
in
action radio, this is, everyone.
Tresham College, and then you put in ISU Art Mesh, ARTMESH.
If you
It should come up.
send me this, Steph, and I'll post it afterwards, because I know Rupinder's going to be. I can see she's watching and listening, and I
Yeah,
can literally
yeah.
feel her head exploding about this. So I will send it to her.
No, that's cool. Yeah, so it's like when I say to you, when you see the work, it's so
Yes,
different and
she's
diverse.
literally just messaged me going, "Yes, please," with loads of exclamation marks.
Yeah, what I'll do is I'll give it you on LinkedIn now and a message the link. But
Drop it
yeah,
to me
when I
and I'll
say to
forward
you,
it to her.
it's so diverse, the work, from like fashion pieces to digital illustrations to mixed media works to production arts, doing production setups, to image manipulation. A lot of it's still image, and that's something that we'd like to look at developing later on down the line, but is making it more interactive. But it works quite nicely at the minute,
Yeah.
as it is. So yeah, so at the minute there's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 editions.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow. Crikey. Gosh, wow, you're so busy.
Yeah.
I just think it sounds like such an amazingly diverse celebration of the amazing platform that is the creative arts as well. And the
Mm.
fact that even in a global pandemic, you still made sure that that happened and that those artists were able to create their art, and you gave them a place to do that. I mean, if
Yeah,
that isn't a definition of a lecturer of the year, I don't know what is.
I don't know. I like, for me, I see so many great practice, like amazing practice around me all the time, and in different, I always struggle to take compliments, so I always found this award quite difficult when everyone's complimenting me, because I'm like, to me, I'm just doing my job, but obviously, like, it's just ingrained in me to always push, to always drive, to innovate, and I don't really see that as. And I know I'm not saying this for credit or anything, but I don't see it as going above and beyond, because for me, to do everything I possibly can to support my students is something that everyone should do when you're in this job. And I just, I mean, there was probably days where I didn't sleep, and, you work 15, 16 hours, and
Yeah.
it can be quite hustle bustle crazy. And, but to me, when you, like we talked at the start, when you're working with young people, you just, or students in general, just, you do everything you can to support them in any way. And, it's just ingrained in me, really.
Crikey, yeah, right. It absolutely is. It definitely is. So, let's get to the award, because it's killing me. Tell how did it come about? Was it obviously we've talked about this, but
Yeah.
how did you first get kind of like the Chinese whisper that this could potentially be a thing?
Oh my God. So I had no idea. So I was sitting in my year 2 graphics class, and I got an email, and it was like, "Oh, you've blah blah blah, this is the award for the national," and I thought, "Oh, someone spammed me." I started laughing. I thought it was a joke.
When
Honestly.
it's delete
No,
spam.
I swear down, I thought it was a joke. I was like, "Oh, blimmin' out, who spammed me?" So I just started
That's
laughing, and
hilarious.
my student said, "What's up, Steph?" I said, "Oh, some blooming numpty spammed me and saying I've got some award," and they started chuckling. So I was like, "Oh, crack on with teaching," and just ignored it. So then
Yeah.
later on, I popped into my head of school's office, and she's like, "You're right. How's your day going?" I says, I just had a weird email, bloody spam. I deleted it though, because it's one of those things, I don't want to get a virus or whatever and that." And she said,
Right.
"What did it say?" And I said about it, and she just smiled at me. And I said, "What are you looking at me like that for?" And she went, "No, that is real. You've been nominated by, it was Rachel down at customer services,
Oh,
and
lovely
then."
Rachel.
Yeah, lovely Rachel. So Rachel nominated me, and then they conspired. So the directors and the heads and different people conspired behind my back, putting together this nomination for me, and I didn't have a clue. And they obviously all submitted it, and I was like,
The swines,
"Oh
Steph.
no, yeah." But I was like, I genuinely was like just shocked, because I thought it was a joke, and I only mentioned it because I was more worried about like someone try to hack my computer or
Yeah.
something.
That just
Honestly.
shows how beautifully modest and humble you are, though. But so was it like, did you like just go into the staff room and be like, right, listen, everybody, I need to have a word for you about this?
Oh, no, I just was like, I can't explain it. I was quite taken aback, and I was like, I didn't understand why, or, what I didn't quite even know what it
Yeah.
was about, to be honest. So I was kind of like, what? And then marketing come and got me and had a chat with me, and I was like, I thought, honestly, I just couldn't believe it. I was just so taken aback by it, and, really honoured that someone had looked at me and seen what I had done, and
Yeah.
it was just yeah, wonderful, really lovely to be valued like that by people on my team, and outside of my team as well. It means a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. So you were nominated. You thought it was a spam thing. Everyone was like, "Oh no, it's real." And then did everything kind of return to normal, and you kind of forgot about it? And then Richie Anderson arrived, apparently.
Well, it was a weird build-up because what
Well,
actually happened.
weren't you in New Zealand?
Well, it was a well, but even before that, it's a weird build-up, right? So you get told, right, you get so they said you're nominated, but you know it's a big competition, and you know you might not get shortlisted. And then just before I went away to New Zealand, I um I was planning a trip to New Zealand, but I got told to come down to the office, and I was like, oh God, I'm
Right.
not sure. Well, they're going to tell me like, well done, pat on the back, but you've not got through. And they said to me, Steph, you've been shortlisted for the Silver Award. So I was
Stop
like,
it.
what? So I was like, what? I was like, what? And then they said to me, so what you get is like you get to go on a cruise in London for like a celebration for all the silver winners, and then the silver winners, I think it was five of them, then get put through to the finals of the gold award, which will be in November, announced live on the BBC. And I was like, what? I was like, so a few days before New Zealand, like literally 2 days before I flew, it got announced that I was shortlisted for a silver award winner, and then the very next day I had to go down to London to the ferry, and you go underneath the Tower of London Bridge on the boat,
Yeah.
and I was like, I felt dead posh, I tell you. I had finger bites and everything. I was like, this is
Sorry.
life. It was pretty awesome. But the worst part about it was I struggle with seasickness, so I was like on the
Oh,
ferry
Steph,
holding on
no.
for dear life. I was like, oh my God. And I was like, do you know how someone's standing on a surfboard, like trying
Yeah.
to balance them? And I'm like all suited and booted up, trying to look all suave, and the next minute holding a table with my legs apart and trying to keep my balance so I don't topple over on this bloody boat in front of everyone.
Oh, you're so glamorous.
I know, right? Right TV material that is, isn't it?
Oh gosh. So then Richie Anderson arrived.
Well, yeah. So even before that, so I got back from New
Yeah.
Zealand, right?
Yeah.
So come back, and long story short, I come back to work and whatnot, and then what happened was, the BBC they contacted us and they said, so I did not have a clue. They were like, we need to come in, we're filming everyone, and I'm quite naive, right? Not all
Yeah.
the time, but sometimes I'm quite naive in this sense. So I was like, oh, bloody hell, it must be a lot of work going around filming everyone who's a silver winner. So obviously, so they come in and filmed me and spent the evening because I skateboard coach at Adrenaline Alley. So they came and filmed me there
Yeah.
skate coaching, and then they came to my work the next day and filmed me all day teaching from like 10:45 till about 2.
And you
And
didn't
then they
cotton
said,
on at all.
no, I just thought they were doing it for everyone. So I was like, oh my
What?
God, this is a lot of effort they're putting in, isn't they, to film everyone, to put on the
Well,
show. Do you know what I
they're
mean?
paid loads, Steph. They're paid loads.
Well, I mean, clearly, blooming heck. Do you know what I mean? It's mental that. And then they said to us, "Oh, you need to come over and meet us at Adrenaline again." And I thought, why do they want me to meet them there? So I had no idea, like literally no idea.
You would be so easy to do a surprise party for.
Honestly, I really would. But you know what was really funny? The only time I cottoned on was something was going on was because Rachel was like to me, "Oh, Steph, you have to go over at this time. Just wait behind with me for a coffee or something." And I'm like, why
Yeah,
is she trying to hold me back from
I
going too
see.
soon? And then
So it was a
like,
little bit of you for a minute was like, hang on a minute.
well, I was confused because they did say to us, they said, you're not going to get the award until the night on the 27th of November on the BBC
Yeah,
on the One show. So I thought there's no bloody way they're doing it. And then I was a bit upset because I'll be honest, I was driving over to Adrenaline and I thought, I'm really upset because if my mum and my sister's not there and they surprise me, I'll be dead upset because I would really want them there.
yeah.
And then I voice noted my mum and I voice noted my sister as well. And I says, "Oh, I'm a bit worried, guys, because I've just got a bit of a weird feeling something's going on, and I'm really upset that you know you're not going to be there and something's going to happen." And
Did
you
they
know,
know?
yeah,
You know they didn't.
I swear to God. So they knew, and my best friend, who's like my brother, knew, and I had no idea, but they had known for days and played it like they knew nothing. So there's me driving over. I pull over, voice note them, say to them, A, B, and C a bit worried. I think something's going down. I'm really upset because if something happens and you're not there, like that
Yeah,
would make me sad because they mean the world to me. So having them there to experience it would be really important. But like,
100%.
but but
But they already knew
unbeknownst to
about
me,
it, so it's fine.
well, unbeknownst to me, they're all blooming sitting in this room at adrenaline, hiding away from me.
Gosh, oh my
Yeah,
goodness.
honestly, it was well planned. It worries me how good they are at hiding things, even my students. I
I
thought I
mean, there
knew
you go.
them.
You're going to be like super suspicious about literally everything in your life now.
Well, they all got a minibus over. My students got a minibus over from the college to Adrenaline Alley, and then my family were all hiding in the room, and so were the students. And then, as you see on the TV, I'm sitting down chatting to Richie, and I thought, I can't turn around because if I turn around, we're going to have to reshoot the scene again. And this happened all day where like something happened or someone got in the shot and we had to reshoot it again. So I thought I'm going to keep my head looking at him because I can tell someone's coming in the background. And I was worried that we're going to have to reshoot the scene again. So, and
Yeah.
I didn't realise, but I
I love
turned
that that's
around.
what you were worried about.
Yeah, and then I turn around, and the thing what cracked me up the most was when I see my little nana, and my nan hates any kind of socialising. She's 84 years old, so to get her out of her house to come to
Bless
there,
her.
it took a lot, honestly. So it just, oh, my heart melted when I seen her little face, and I just
Oh,
thought, what's my
Nan, I
nan
love
doing
your
here?
Nan. I love your
No,
Nana. That's
she's
so
the
amazing.
she's the best, isn't she? She's a wild one.
Wow.
um, yeah.
Bless her. Did she have a sherry for you?
Oh, do you know what? She is going to outlive all of us. She doesn't
Is
drink,
she?
doesn't smoke. Honestly, she's fit as a fiddle, that woman.
My
She does
Auntie
more.
Joyce were like that.
Honestly, it's mad, isn't it? It's just a different generation. They're built like brick, they are.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, they absolutely are. So one of the things that I loved was I must just read you some comments that I've had come in, Steph. So
Yeah,
I've had
sure,
a
sure.
message from Gareth saying, so great to hear such positivity. Rupinder says, what a great story. So happy for you. And Paul says, congratulations. It sounds so well deserved.
Oh, thank you
And
so much, everyone. I
I
really
think this is the
appreciate it.
thing. I remember finding out that you were going to be on the One Show, and I was like, right. I messaged everyone that I knew. I was like, I know her. She's my friend. I've worked with her, and I was like,
Yeah,
I invited people over and people who kind of knew you. People who kind of knew you from college and stuff and that kind of thing. So we were there celebrating, like we're going to celebrate with them. It's going to be amazing.
yeah, yeah,
Um, and then there was this wonderful moment at the end when you were presented with obviously the skateboard,
yeah, yeah.
and it was a wonderful lady that presented you with the skateboard. So can you tell us a little bit about the amazing student of Lee Blissett?
Yeah, so, oh gosh, I've been really fortunate over the years to work with a lot of students who, you just meet some students and they imprint on you.
Yeah,
And so basically, I knew Lee when he was 16 years old, and
so did I.
unfortunately, yeah, you actually taught him
I
briefly as
taught him.
well. Yeah, you did actually, and he came to college, and he got poorly, and it turned
Mm.
out unfortunately he had cancer, and it was quite aggressive, and he had to eventually leave college to get treatment, and then last year I had a message, and I was like, Lee, and then I seen the second name, so I rang the person up straight away, and I said, "Is this Lee? My Lee from a few years ago?" And he said, "It's Lee, Steph." So I was absolutely stoked because I always had such love for this kid who was just such a strong, inspirational young man.
Yeah,
And he says, I want to come back to college and I want to, train to be a graphics designer. And he was just honestly the attitude and the positivity on him, like it was just unbelievable, like unreal to say
he
all
had a
these things
dream,
that
didn't he?
honestly he just wanted to have the life of any normal young man and to be successful and to live his dream and to be a student and engage, and it was just wonderful. So he come back and he was really engaged and cracking on with his sessions, making friends. And
Yeah.
one day I got an email from him. I think it was quite late at night, and I just knew, he said to me, I need to talk to you. And I just knew, I knew it wasn't going to be good news. And I knew that he was still, in and out of treatment and getting reviews and so on. So I come into work the next day and I had a chat with him and his mum, and they come and met me, and that's when they told us that he only had a few months left to live and it was terminal. And it was, I mean, as a teacher, you're prepared when your student has mental health, when they are going through, an abusive situation, or they've got difficulties going on in their life, such as, food poverty or financial crisis. You
Yeah.
can do things to help them, but when you're
Yeah.
told, that your student's terminally ill and they've not got long to live, oh God, it was just awful. Like, I genuinely, nothing prepares you for that. Like, no matter how much you try and keep professional boundaries or not get emotional, it's impossible. And, I grew quite a good bond with Lee and a lot of respect for him and his family, because they were just incredible people. And I think I said to Lee jokingly, we had a really good kind of teacher-student relationship. And I said, "You're the only man to ever make me cry, Lee." And he started laughing at me. And
Oh, bless him.
And you know what? He, took pretty much till the very end. He was coming in college, even when he was on his oxygen and he was getting really
Yeah.
poorly. And I said to him, let's sit down. Let's, what I said to his mum in the meeting when this happened, about doing a GoFundMe, so that he could use it to do whatever he wanted to with his family the last few weeks or months that he had. So I'd done the GoFundMe, and I think it was just over £3,000 we raised. And he'd done lots of, like, a fancy dress party with his family. He got tattoos. He went on experiences with them, and
Good lad.
yeah, he just lived life to the
Good
fullest.
lad.
And on his last day of college, so he got too unwell to come in, but I rang him up and I says, "Stop!" I says, "Get your bum in. I need to see you. We're gonna have one last day before you sign off from college. You know, we all want to see you." And unbeknown to him, I've got a friend who's got loads of fancy dress outfits, and I got all his group to dress up in the wildest fancy dress outfits, and we all stood outside the college, and we met him and his mum in the car, and we done a fancy dress fun photo shoot. And
Oh my goodness.
yeah, his mum's, I made her a little video and stuff, and it was just, there's some students that come into your life, and I think he'll always, his attitude was amazing. And one of the things that he wore as a necklace on, he had the saying, "I can, I will." And it was his way of being like, I will always get through whatever faces me. Amazing strength of character.
Huge strength of character. I remember Lee coming in as a very young 16-year-old, going on 25, thought he was going to take over the world. And in his own way, do you know what? He did.
Yeah,
He bloody well
100%.
did. Sorry, Tom, but he did.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness! So
Definitely.
what did he come out with at the end? Tell us what he got at the end, because his mum very proudly showed his certificates, didn't she?
Yeah, so she didn't know, but what I did was, it was October half term actually, and I rang up the awarding body UAL. I was supposed to be on holiday during this time, and I spent the whole week contacting UAL.
Just book a spa weekend. It's just a suggestion.
Yeah, no. But I rang up UAL, and I was just, I says to them, we need to do something. This young man's so inspiring, and everything he's done, and how hard he's tried to work on the program, etc. And anyway, we got him an aggregate award of a distinction to recognise him as a student and as someone who contributed to the college, contributed to his studies. And I made sure they actually fast tracked it for me so we could get it to him before he passed away.
Oh God.
Yeah, so he actually got that before he passed away, which was really important. And it was, it's a year ago. It's a year actually since he's passed away, Christmas Eve.
Stop
This
it,
year.
is it?
Yeah. So it'll be a year on the 24th of December.
I would light a candle for him, Steph.
Yeah. It's crazy. Time just goes by.
I can't believe that's been a year.
Yeah, I know. Honestly, it feels like yesterday. It genuinely does. And I just think that it makes you realize, like, as a teacher, whatever student you come across, whether, or whatever things they endure in life, you as a teacher can help support those young people. And, even their families, and I do it all again in a heartbeat. And I never genuinely, I don't do anything for recognition, whether I'm recognised or not. It's just in me, like it is with most teachers, to go and support any student that needs our help.
I mean, if that isn't an advert for joining probably one of the most beautiful professions, I don't know what is. Steph, I'm so chuffed that you've been talking to me tonight. Thank you so much for sharing your entire 10-year journey with us. And not only that, sharing your Pearson Award and some of your amazing students, and obviously Lee Blissett with us as well. I do have one question I want to ask you before we finish, and it's one that I like to ask at the end of my interviews when I chat to any of my guests.
Yeah,
And I'm
sure.
going to put you on the spot because I've just realised that I haven't told you I'm going to do this. I'm so sorry. Is there anyone who was one of your teachers or a teacher that you've worked with who just inspired you to, go on and become this amazing teacher that you are today, that kind of put that into you that, I'm going to make that difference?
Is there a time frame on this?
No, go for it. Go for it. You've got about 5 minutes. We're all good.
All right, I'll do it in 5 minutes. So
Go
when I
for
was
it.
when I was younger, I basically had two teachers. They were called Miss Brown and Miss Brown, so they were known as
Miss
the
Brown and Miss
Browns.
Brown.
Yeah. So
They
I
were
was
known
basically
as the Browns. What, like
the
a man
Browns,
called? I
yeah.
love that.
And basically, like honestly, the Browns, they were the most wonderful teachers ever. And one of them actually signed up to an art A-level class and would pick me up and drop me off every evening, and signed up just so I could go to that art A-level class in the evening, because my mum was a single parent and would work 3 jobs, 4 jobs at a time to support us.
Right.
So one of the teachers actually signed up to the A-level art class and would basically take me every single week just so I could engage in that class. And they even took me on special trips to, to like London, to art shows, and really took me under their wing. And I think if it weren't for them, because I was never engaged in school, and I really struggled. And I was brought up, with my mum, single parent household, who worked all the time, and
Yeah.
I really struggled with school. It wasn't something that ever really come natural to me. And then these two teachers just said to me, you've got potential with your art, and took me under their wing. So I think for me, they massively imprinted on me, because even though I was a bit of a a little bit of a bugger at times, I was always polite and things like
Nice.
that. I was a bit of a bugger, but I just wasn't, I just was not seen. I wasn't kind of, no, I wasn't given the time by the teachers until those two teachers come along and actually said, no, we see you, we hear you, and we're going to work with you. And they just got me and got on my level and supported me. And I genuinely don't think if it was for them, I wouldn't have done my art classes, and I wouldn't have engaged. And I think that's why even in my teaching, I, really try and understand the student as a person, not just as a student, because I think I can relate to that, when you're
Yeah.
just kind of not seen, and you're seen as another person or a number. And so they definitely imprinted on me, and they were just absolutely just wonderful teachers. And yeah, so I definitely would say the Browns.
The Browns.
Yeah, the Browns. They're amazing though, lovely.
Bless them. Are you still in touch with them at all?
Well, actually, like quite a few years ago, I bumped into one of them at the gym, and I did say to her
Of
how
course you did.
amazing. Yeah,
Where
because
else do you
everyone,
bump into your ex-teachers?
honestly, everyone knows everyone. Everyone knows everyone where I live, honestly. And I did bump into them, and I just said to them, thank you. And I actually was thinking if I contacted the school to see if they're about, but I don't know, because they were of an older age when I left, so I don't know if they are still
Right.
about now. But yeah, honestly, I just think that you just get some special people, and whether it's teachers or mentors or whoever, like they can really imprint on you. And I think that those two teachers really supported me and made a difference to me for sure.
Bless you. That's amazing. What's next? What is your next mission to change the world? What is your next
Oh,
project? Your next thing that you're going to do?
well, at the minute, I'm actually, it's quite weird you asked that, actually, because there's a lot of obviously poverty at the minute. And I was talking to a friend of mine who works in politics, and I'm trying to look at
You have
social
a friend
equality.
in politics?
Yeah, he's actually working to try and be the next MP of our county. So
Ooh.
yeah, it's pretty cool. I've got to be careful what I say because it's something that he's putting together. I don't know if it's public yet, but yeah. So
As
he was
long as
talking
he's
to me.
all pro everything we want for education, I'm all for
Oh
him.
God, yeah, definitely. And we were talking about social like equality and and one of the things I'm working on at the minute, I've started a GoFundMe and I'm trying to network with local companies to set up basically food banks across the Tresham College, Wellingborough, Corby Kettering sites because we're getting a lot of students in that have basically are struggling. And because
Yeah.
of the current crisis with energy costs, with the cost of living going up, we've got a lot more students coming in
Yeah.
where they are struggling and they're not eating, and it's that shouldn't be happening, absolutely not. And if we want the students to engage, they need to have their basic needs met. So with the current threshold with the government, if a parent or a household is earning £7,000 or more, okay, then basically that does mean that the parent's not entitled to have the student have free meals in college. How crazy is that? seven
That's
thousand pounds
crazy.
So if you're on a salary a year of £12,000 a year, right, and you're a single parent, your student, your child who say goes to college or whatever, basically wouldn't
Won't
be able
be entitled
to
to
free.
free meal.
That's insane, isn't it? And that's the
That's it.
threshold the government set. So you can imagine the amount of kids that have had free school meals in secondary school and then they come to college, and then basically our student service team, like I've talked to them, and they've got a small fund that they have to try and put aside to support students, but it's just being decimated because the amount of students that are coming in poverty-stricken situations needing food. So that's my initiative I'm working on at the minute, is networking with local companies to try and get non-perishable foods and set up a food bank at the Corby Kettering and Wellingborough campuses, and
Yeah.
then starting a funding GoFundMe as well to try and raise proceeds for student services at those sites as well. So
Wow.
that's one thing I'm working on, is about
Just remind, off the back of that, just remind me after we finish here that I need to have a conversation with you about that. I have a thing that I need to talk to you about. You've
yeah,
literally just
that'd be great.
ignited like 55 ideas in my head.
Yeah, that'd be
Yeah.
great. I mean, there's so many of there's quite a lot of initiatives I'm working on at the minute. But
I
yeah, so
think
that
we're going to have to do a series of shows.
we can, yeah. I mean, I'm
We
really
have a
like
Steph hour.
I think the thing is, what bothers me is because like my background, I was brought up in a council estate,
Yeah.
with a single parent, and was seen as an underdog in society, and was kind of never was always looked past. Like nobody ever kind of thought anyone like me would achieve anything. I didn't even know what university was when I was a kid,
Mm.
and I think that's the issue. Is like when you have people that give you opportunities to support the provisions, and even my mum, she always said you achieve anything you set your mind to. um that's important, and so that's why it's to me it's so important that people, and no matter where they come from, where they start off in life, that they all have opportunity to develop, to achieve, to succeed, and that we as educators are there to support that. But alongside that, there needs to be other provisions in place to support those young people as well, and that's what I'm really passionate about and driving. So yeah.
We definitely need to get you back on here again. We need to do
Anytime.
another. Just literally, what we need to do is we need to set another. Like we'll do like 3 monthly intervals of like which new initiative is where and how everyone can get involved and help. I think this could be a thing.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, definitely. I mean, for me, I think, the community that I'm in, we all are very kind of like, we all look after each other, and that's
Definitely,
always been in my heart, is we look after our own and we look after each other. And I think, I don't know, have you ever watched the film Pay It Forward, Sarah?
I have actually.
That film is literally how, when I was little and I watched that, for the people that are listening, like when I was younger, there's a film called Pay It Forward with a little boy from Sixth Sense. So if you've not seen that, you
Yeah,
need
if
to
you
watch
haven't
it.
seen it, you need to watch it. It's an amazing
On
film.
Oh, it's bloody amazing. And I watched that as a kid and I thought to myself, that's how I want to live my life. So this
Yeah,
sounds a bit morbid, but I think to myself, when you die and when you're in your deathbed and you look back on your life, you don't look back and go, oh, look at all the materialistic items I bought or all the money I made. You look back at the experiences, at the impact on what people had on you or what you had on others. And I think as a profession, as a teacher, there's so many things that we can do.
You're absolutely right. It's like when
in
you
our
stand at someone
lifetime.
at a funeral, some people don't stand up and say, "Do you know what? She had a really great sofa and beautiful shoes."
Exactly, and this is the
No,
thing. I think, yeah, exactly. Not to
literally.
say that you're not allowed to have nice things in life. Don't get me wrong. Like, for anyone
Yeah.
that's read a bit about me, I'm obsessed with skateboarding in my own time, and I
And you
probably
make
collect.
it look really cool as well, which is really annoying.
Oh no, I don't know about that. I think when I'm falling on my backside, it's definitely not cool.
I kind of wish they'd showed a little bit more on the one show, actually, of you doing a bit more skating.
Well, you follow
Yeah.
you follow me on my Instagram, I think, so you probably see the good fail that I have on there, and
Oh,
the
Steph, I'm locked
mates.
out on my Instagram at the minute. I can't cope with it because I've changed my phone number and Instagram doesn't know how to cope with it.
Oh
But anyway,
no.
the show like finished like minutes ago. But do you know what? I don't care because I could talk to you for hours. Steph, thank you so much for
No
joining me on the
problem.
Late
Thank
Late Show
you.
tonight, and purely because I'm having to cut you off and we haven't finished talking, I am having you back on in the new year. Will you chuck me some spare time at
Yeah,
some
sure,
point and
sure.
we'll do this again? Rupinder says to say thank you, Steph. It's been an amazing show. Noam's message saying, I've just joined. I
Thank
really
you.
appreciate the show tonight. Have a great Xmas, everybody. So, yes, thank you so much for joining me tonight, Steph. It's been an absolute pleasure and I can't
Oh,
wait
brilliant.
to see
Thank
what
you
you
so
do
much.
next. And we are having cake in the new year.
Oh God, yeah. Thank you so much, everyone, and thanks, Sarah, for having me on. I really appreciate it. It's been lovely.
It's
And
an
have a good
absolute pleasure.
Christmas, everyone.
You too. Merry Christmas, Steph. Take care.
Good Christmas. Have a good one.
Bye.
Ta-ra.
Ta-ra. That was Steph Levy, this year's Pearson FE Lecturer of the Year. Oh my goodness, how amazing are they? Like, I don't even care that I've run over. I'm going to get an email from Tom telling me off. But thank you so much for all the amazing messages you've sent in for Steph this evening. It's been so wonderful to have them on the show, and I can't wait to do it again. I'm pretty sure that they will blow our minds the next time they come on with even more amazing stories and initiatives that are being put into place. This is my last show till the new year. I will be back in January. Have an amazing Christmas, everybody. Make sure you stay safe. Make sure you eat far too much and drink way too much Baileys. Have a wonderful time. Enjoy the Christmas break. And I will see you in the new term. Take care, everyone. Bye.